can get sponsors for your business. Where would you get sponsors for your business? Is this a thing? Yes, it is. It's one of the 9 ways that we use to increase your bottom line business revenue by $150,000. And this is one strategy will bring in $150,000. So you're going to want to watch this video and the others in this series so that you can add additional $150,000 pieces to your bottom line business revenue strategies. All right, you want to stay tuned so you hear the rest of this because it's going to be a gooder today. See you soon. All right, today we're going to be talking about sponsorship and how do you add sponsors to your business to support you in your growth and your revenue and where you're going next in your business. Well, if you have certain types of businesses, this is easier, but you don't necessarily have to have a certain type of business. I've actually seen sponsors sponsor small businesses of many types. So sometimes we think, well, that wouldn't work for me. Okay, I'm just going to get you to open up your mind here today to the possibilities because it might be more possible than you've ever thought of. So obviously, if you have a membership-based business, sponsors are a great thing to add to the membership base. Okay, I'll explain more about this in a minute, but first I just want to tell you what kinds of businesses could easily get sponsors. Membership-based businesses is definitely on that list. Those that do events definitely can get sponsors. Typically, they may be trying to get a sponsor for the one-time event that is happening on a weekend. Those that do ongoing events, which by the way, membership-based businesses are ongoing events. Okay, you can get sponsors to sponsor you not just for a summit or a one-time activity, but to sponsor you for an entire year. Did you just hear what I just said? We've been doing this for more than a decade, so this is for real. Okay, you can get them to sponsor you for more than a year. Coaches may easily find people who would sponsor their coaching business, particularly again if they have a monthly offering with group coaching, or if they have a membership, or perhaps if they have events or retreats, sponsors might be in the wheelhouse for them. What about just if you have a business and you take sponsors who are aligned with your values? What would that look like? Well, let's talk about chiropractors for a minute. Did you know that a chiropractor might be interested in sponsoring a wellness type of business? Something to think about. I mean, what if you had a store that sold vitamins and, things that you need for wellness? Would a sponsor that? Possibly. It depends if you have an aligned value, if you have something in common with them. Would it be possible, for example, for an animal shelter to get sponsors from veterinarian clinics? Would vets sponsor that? Yeah, why wouldn't they? So, you just got to open up your mind to the possibilities. When I'm working with consultation clients, we go through what could possibly be a sponsorship package that they could offer and who could they possibly offer it. Now, let's talk about why. Why would you get sponsors for your business? Well, for one thing, it increases financial stability a lot. Okay. Many businesses have this up, down thing going on. Okay. I make lots of sales, revenue goes up, and then I start servicing the customers and I forgot to get sales, revenue goes down. And so you got mountains and valleys in the revenue process. Having long-term sponsors on board to sponsor your business is a way of actually decreasing the valleys. Okay, sponsors will often sponsor for a large ticket price. They may pay even monthly, and it adds ongoing revenue to the income stream. Another place I've seen sponsorship is really very similar. Like if you have a magazine and you're selling 2 pages in the magazine for $2,500 and you put your magazine out quarterly. Okay. What if you instead had a sponsor who sponsored you for $8,000 for the entire year and is in every edition, and you throw in some perks for that? Then you're not continuously chasing new sales all the time for the magazine. See how that makes sense? It creates stability. Sponsors can also further your reach. Like the sponsorship themselves, they may bring something else to the table besides just money. So a few years ago, we had a large bank sponsored us in CIBN Connect, and it was one of the big 4 in Canada. And not only did they give us money, they also, added influence to who we were. Having their logo up on the website, not only looked good, it attracted more people, right? And the kind of people that we wanted to attract. The bank also did some other things for us, like they actually they had some events where they featured CIBN, and because they were a sponsor, and they wouldn't normally do that for just anyone. So it's just really cool, how sponsor relationships can lead to other things that actually increase the influence of the person who got the sponsor, right? So who will sponsor? Well, lots of people are going after the big sponsorships, the big businesses. And there is a way of getting big businesses to sponsor. Many big businesses, actually corporations, you can go to their websites, and they may even have a page where they say sponsorship, and here's the directions if you want to ask us to sponsor your company or your initiative or your event, and they'll have their criteria. Some companies only sponsor non-for-profit companies or non-for-profit organizations. All right. So, well, a lot of business owners would say, well, then I don't qualify for that. Did you know there's a strategy where you can open up a nonprofit edition of your company and go after, for example, Google sponsorship and get $10,000 worth of advertising every month? $10,000 a month every month, and have them cover that. And there's a way to actually bring some of the revenue from that, or use that as a lead generation stream where you give free training, for example. But as they come into the free training, then you upsell them through your business. What did I just say? Yeah, that's a thing. That's actually a strategy. And you can get thousands of dollars of sponsorship money coming in from companies like Google by using that as a strategy. I know somebody's brain just went, oh my gosh, it's true. That's just one idea. Okay, there's lots of ideas with sponsorship. Some of them are a lot easier to do than that. When you're talking about big sponsorships of big corporations, some of them do sponsor small businesses. They sponsor memberships. You don't have to be a nonprofit. You have to go look at what it is that they would be looking for. So what I have my team do is I have them go looking to see in the realm of the big companies, the corporations, what is their criteria? What are they looking for? Are their values aligned with ours? Could we possibly be filling a hole for them, as giving them a solution to the group of people that they want to get in front of? Because in my organization, we're in front of entrepreneurs, small business owners. So sometimes big corporations, they want to look like the superhero to the small guys, and they're willing to actually buck up with $100,000 to sponsor. Isn't that super cool? But you have to know what is it that they want. And oftentimes they have it right on their website. So in Canada, we have some big companies like telephone companies. TELUS has a page on their website that says, this is what we do for sponsorship. This is what we're looking for. This is the kind of business that we would like. So we fill out an application for that. They take time to fill out, though, with the big companies. I got to tell you, if you do a sponsorship proposal and you fill out their application correctly, that can take half a day, of work just to fill it out. However, once you've done it once, it's not hard to do it again. And usually with sponsorships, big companies like that will be looking for sponsorships, and they'll take them maybe 3 times a year, 4 times a year, once a year, and they have a deadline date on it. So if you're going after big corporations to sponsor you, what you want to do is create a spreadsheet and start filling in when are they actually taking applications. And once a month, at least, you should put out a big application somewhere. And you're not going to get them all. You're not going to get most of them. One of them would make a significant difference, though, wouldn't it? What if you put out one a month and you got one a year for $100,000? Would that help? For many of you, that would be a big help. But let's talk about small sponsorships, because it's a lot easier to get them. There's small businesses all over the place that would pay $5,000 to sponsor a membership-based business, for example. As long as your values are aligned, as long as you have the crowd that they want. Like CIBN, we learned this years ago because we have a crowd that many small businesses want. So we had a big group of people. We started in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We had a great big group of people in Calgary, and we found that local businesses would be our sponsors. And we've got great sponsors who've been with us for years, every year, giving us thousands of dollars so that we could represent them to our members in that one community. Now, as we've grown globally, we have sponsors that sponsor us right across the country, right across North America, right across the world. Wow, amazing, right? And that's because we have the eyes and ears of small businesses and entrepreneurs, and that is who they want to be in front of. So we've made it a very, sexy offer for them, something nice, something easy that they don't have to do much in order to get a return on. And we even gave them a guarantee. Our sponsors get a guarantee when they sponsor us that they're going to get a significant amount of revenue in return for the sponsorship. So in our case, it's a no-brainer. Do you have to do that? Maybe. It depends what kind of a business that you're running. In our case, because we do so many things to help small businesses, entrepreneurs, it's not really that difficult for us to give a guarantee. But I have helped membership-based businesses get sponsors just for having the same aligned values. Sometimes people sponsor because they want to give back to a cause. And when giving to a membership-based business a sponsorship amount, because it's a business expense, it is a 100% tax write-off. Did you hear what I just said? A sponsorship is a business fee. It's like a membership fee. It's 100% tax write-off for another business to give that to you. That alone is very attractive. Did you know when they give away to a nonprofit, it's not 100%. It's not even close. I'm not sure if it's even 30. It depends on what country you're in and what it's all about. But isn't that interesting? If they call it a sponsorship fee, it's 100% tax deduction, and they're supporting the cause. Right? That alone is attractive of why they might want to help you out. Small businesses often have been approached for sponsorship in the past for things like, hey, buy all of the buy the jackets and the suits and the uniforms for the little league team. And then they, the kids are out there, on the ice playing hockey, or they're doing baseball or whatever. And the local restaurant is being, advertised. That could work pretty well for a restaurant. Doesn't always work that great for like a plumber. It really depends on the community. Do people really associate that they should go support the sponsor there? And what has happened with those kinds of sponsorships, if a company was looking for a return on investment in a sponsorship, they might not be as happy with how that turned out. Or if they went for a weekend sponsorship. I don't like weekend sponsorships. Okay, they're kind of useless. I mean, you offering the sponsorship to the business owner, of course, you're like, yay, it will give me revenue to create the event or whatever it is for the weekend. But what does it do for them? The small business that actually gave you that money, what does it do for them? Putting their logos up on your banners for a weekend is pretty useless. Sorry, they're not getting any business from that. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and we have the greatest outdoor show on earth. It's called the Calgary Stampede. Hundreds of thousands of people come here from all over the world for that. You can buy the tarp covering that goes on the chuck wagons. They sell every year. They're upwards of $250,000, and we've seen them sell for, $500,000. And they just put the logos of the company on it, and it flies around. That's a sponsor. It just runs around the track, really, really fast. Sounds very exciting. Do they get business from that? I think at best they get bragging rights. Okay. We were, at the chuck wagon races. We were on, the banners. We were on the chuck wagons. I don't think that really increase of business is something that happens from that. And over the years, as we've sponsored other things as well, we've never gotten much of a return on that kind of thing. But I tell you what is attractive to small companies. If you say, I am going to represent you, not just for a weekend, but for a whole year. I put on 4 events a year, and I'm going to represent you at all 4 if you sponsor my company, my project, my events for this much money. That is actually very effective. We've done that over the years. We've also been able to give a return on investment for the people who sponsor us, and that has attracted them not only once, but to come back and sponsor year after year after year. And we've done a lot of work with our sponsors where we watch out in the network for who would be a great connection for them and who would be a really good provider of services or business for them, or who would buy from them specifically what they have. And we make those connections happen for them, whether they're at meetings or not. And that has been very, very good for sponsors. So you got to think about, what do you have that you could offer in a sponsorship package? And when I'm working with my consultation clients, we do a lot of work on that, figuring out what would be a great sponsorship package for you that would just be a no-brainer. The people who like what you do, they want to support your cause, they like your community, they want to be part of those events that you're putting on throughout the year. What would be the right ticket price, and what would we be able to offer to those folks that they would just say, yeah, that is a slam dunk. That is easy. I definitely want to sponsor you. And so I help you to create those strategies. So that's one of the things that I do with people that I'm working with. So why not get a sponsorship thing going for you and your business that increases overall revenue? Why not think about it? Spitball the idea. Is it possible? Could that work for me in my industry? Why not have those conversations? And then there might be somebody listening along that says, well, I'd like to sponsor something, especially if it gave me a return, or if it had to do with my aligned values. Well, reach out. If we're not the right fit for you, we have other organizations that might be. So I'm just going to encourage you, whether you're thinking of getting sponsors or you're thinking of being a sponsor, and what could that do for you? You know what? We have the answers that you are looking for. So I'm just going to put down here, this is my email address. So if you want to reach out and talk about sponsorships, how you could be one or how you could get them in your business, then by all means, reach out. Let's have a conversation and find out. Because sponsorship is really cool. It's great to have sponsors. It's really awesome for the bottom line. It's great to be a sponsor. We actually do sponsor other people's stuff sometimes as well. And it really just has a lot to do with, is it the right group for us? Is it the right connection or collaboration? Is this the best way of doing something? But it often is. I'm going to tell you another way we use sponsorship too. This one's fun. So many people who have a membership-based business or a subscription-based business, or you have a crowd, you're an influencer. By the way, sponsors can work great as well for YouTube channels, podcasts. Oh my goodness, a variety of things. Okay. If you're an influencer, you write books. You can have people sponsor your books. What? Yeah. How about you get your publishing paid for in advance by having sponsors? You just give them a page in your book. That's what that is. Put them in there so they're in there forever. That's another way of using sponsors. Why would they do that? It's the influencer is now promoting them all over the place. But you know what? You're making them be the superhero to your tribe. And it's just amazing what happens back and forth for both individuals when this is happening, when you got a sponsor. You get to create the atmosphere where they get to be the superhero and you, the influencer, tell everybody how awesome they are, right? So it's a great partnership. It's also a way of dealing with all of the different people who reach out to you who say, I would like you to do something for me for free. Those of you who are influencers know what I'm talking about. How many of you get phone calls and emails saying, hey, would you have me on your program to promote my thing for free? Hey, would you take the information about my upcoming event and send it out to all of the people on your email list for free? Years ago, we realized that that was not good for our network. Lots of people would just roll into town and say, hey, let's call CIBN and see if they'll put out our event information for our big name speaker who's going to ride into town and basically take everybody's money and leave town with it. I call those people Vikings, by the way. Not in a good sense. They rolled up in their boats and they just pillaged and plundered and took everything and left. Way back then, many years ago, we decided that instead, let's ask them, well, if you really want to have access to our tribe, to the people that we have influence with, would you be willing to pay for that? The price is $10,000 or more. And of course, many of them said no because they wanted to get free access, and they just ran around to all our competitors and got free access. And then our competitors suffered because their people no longer had the money to spend money on their services. We didn't get trapped in that. We said, you know what? If you really want access to the people, if you recognize that we have built a great tribe, then you know what? We have a sponsorship program for that. And this is the price. And then we'll do it for you and we'll do a great job. And some of them would say, no, we want you to sell our stuff to your people and we'll give you a percentage. We're going to be 20%, 30%. Some even said 40 or 50%. The problem is when you're a larger organization with lots of people and memberships like we are today, we're a global organization today. When they try to make those offers, they don't realize that, well, it takes just as much work and effort to set all of the pieces up, the landing pages, the follow-through parts, the scripts. People, humans have got to go and do this work, and it costs money. So we've said, no, we do that. These things that you're asking, sending to email lists, promoting events, we do that for sponsors. And this is the sponsorship price. Now, for those of you that are in those types of businesses, you're event-based businesses, you're a podcast, whatever you are, when you wrap your mind around this idea, you're going to realize it's way more profitable to have sponsors than it is just to say yes to every person who comes along with a request, because they will wear you out. And some of them, it will be profitable to take a percentage. But what if you're taking a percentage of an offer that's a pretty good offer, but they don't know how to sell? We've had that happen. It was a great offer. Should have been something people went for. But the people they had answering the phones to sell the offer couldn't sell it. So it was a big, huge waste of our time because they didn't know how to sell. If they had been sponsors of the organization instead of just trying to do a JV that was useless, a joint venture partnership is what that's called. If in the sponsorship program at CIBN, If they suck at selling, we now have a recourse. We could go and train them in selling, or we could offer them some salespeople to get the job done. And because they paid us in advance, there's some leeway for that. So you see how it just eliminates so many problems when you go with sponsorship rather than useless joint venture partnerships. We'll save that video for another day about the uselessness of joint venture partnerships, because I could go on for days on that one. We've tried several of them in different ways and worked with other groups to do them. And I have to say, sponsorship is a far better option. And for us in our organization, when we created our sponsorship package, we put into place certain things that help our sponsors get a guaranteed return on investment. But we also put into place a vetting process. So we're running people through that to make sure that they actually are a great sponsor for the organization, so that they're going to be providing something that is useful for the business owners and entrepreneurs, and that they have a history in providing that and giving good care to people and looking after their customers, providing good service, and just basically doing a good job. Because it has to be a win-win-win for everybody. And when we're working with consultation clients, that is something that we spend some time on, is how would this sponsorship idea be beneficial for you to bring in sponsors to increase the bottom line? And how would it be beneficial for the sponsor, that this would be something worthwhile for them? They're going to get something from it as well. And then how will it be beneficial for the tribe that you influence? What is the win for them? It's got to be a win, win, win. Not just one win for one person, but a 3-time win for all that is involved in sponsorship. And then you have a winning strategy. So that's what we do. Those are one of the things that we've become very proficient at CIBN Connect over the years. So visit the website at thecibn.com. Hope that you join us as a networking member soon. Visit the YouTube channel at CIBN TV. Go there and subscribe and hit the bell so that you can see more of these great videos. This is just one in a series of strategies, that each one of those strategies would increase your bottom line by $150,000. This is a very, very profitable strategy when it is implemented well. So happy capitalism. Have a great day, and check out more of our stuff on CIBN TV on YouTube.